welcome to Dumb SEO Questions, episode 162. Each week we meet here to answer the questions asked on the SEO Questions community on Google+. With us tonight, we have the world's greatest web architect, Andy Wigglesworth, David Rozam, 30 years a copywriter, 12 years an SEO, hails from down at the bottom end of England.
South is what you say, south.
Is it the bottom or not?
Well, it depends in which sense the bottom, you know, have I drifted down over the years to the bottom?
And you can find David Rozam at writingforseo.org. Masataki Wasa is webmaster of wasaweb.net. He's also a Google Top contributor on the AdSense and the Google Plus help community. Rob Mars is an AdWords aficionado from the Netherlands. He runs a company in the Netherlands, marketbiz.nl. It's marketbiz with a double Z, .nl. And Tim Capper is also a top... I forgot to mention that Rob is a top contributor on web search and AdWords and webmasters in the Dutch language. Did I get it right, Rob? Apparently not. Okay, and Tim is a top contributor on the Google My Business community. He's an SEO, a conversion rate optimization specialist. You can find Tim at onlineownership.com. Okay, our first question tonight. We don't have many. That's good. This one is from Nancy Merland, Google Plus for SEO reasons. Nancy said, "Hi friends, knowing the stories about the alleged demise of Google Plus, at least in its entirety, how would you answer the question about whether one should be on Google Plus because of SEO reasons? This keeps coming up in my circle, so I'd like to give an informed, intelligent answer. Thanks."
Oh, an intelligent answer from us. Okay, personally, Nancy, you know, for me, and obviously for businesses that I work with, etc., it all depends on the platform that you feel firstly comfortable with, that you feel that your customers are on, and that you can engage with. So personally, for me, as a person, I use Google Plus a lot. You know, there's a lot of like-minded people that I can engage with. So that's my first one. Twitter, I'm on, but not as often, and I just maintain a LinkedIn basically. So Google Plus is my go-to kind of thing at the minute. A lot of people prefer Facebook, or, you know, if you're an image-led business, you know, you should advise and throw into the mix Pinterest and Instagram, things like that. So it depends on what the client or the person feels comfortable with, where they can engage with people that they know, like-minded people, and it's also slightly dictated by the business. So, for example, if you're a B2B business, probably LinkedIn. But you know, there's no hard and fast rule. It's what they feel good with, and I like Google Plus. In terms of business, I mean, you don't actually have to have a Google Plus profile now for a business page, but you still have the opportunity to post on there, etc., etc. Now, the benefits from a business point of view are exponential. from having a business page, which then leads to a knowledge panel for the branding. And you can still use it socially. You can still do all the posting. So for a restaurant example, you know, it's good to post this week's sort of you know, lunch specials or dinner specials, or hey, look, we've just, or even from a normal business, hey, look, we've just had a makeover, things like that, which you can cross post obviously onto the other platforms. But in terms of just having the actual business panel and the business page, especially for local, not necessarily national, but local, definitely it increases phone calls, and it increases people coming through the door. So yeah, that's kind of my roundup as such.
Cool.
Yeah, totally.
Go ahead, Matsutake.
Sorry, yeah, I totally agree with Tim in what he said. And it's important, I think, to distinguish, as it were, local entities. So that when Tim referred to his business page, I think Tim meant local Google Plus pages. You know, that on Google Plus side, we try to distinguish between profiles, brand page, and local page. And local page, I think, is extremely important for any business that has a physical location or serves a physical, serves a particular area. As for profiles and brand pages and direct SEO benefits, I think there is none, at least not directly. But it's Google Plus, like other social media platforms, can be a good source of traffic and good source of engagement. So, as Tim said, it depends on what kind of audience you have, whom do you want to appeal to, what kind of business you have, what kind of content you create. Then it depends on that way which platform would suit your needs best.
Yeah.
I must say that I don't do a great deal of social media for my clients, but I do find when I'm putting proposals together that, and I'm saying you should do some social media, that there is an amount of resistance against Google Plus, and I think that's partly down to the stories of it disappearing, and partly down to the stories of it being diluted. But I also think that there's almost a branding problem with Google Plus. People don't actually see what it's for. They see that Facebook is great for B2C. They see that LinkedIn is good for B2B, and Twitter. Well, people have heard of Twitter, and you know they think yes, they've got to go on it. You know, it's always being quoted in the news and all over the place. So and they kind of think, well, where's the niche for Google Plus? Why do I need Google Plus? And I think that the answer is perhaps as Tim and Matsutake have just said. But you know, it's not an immediate understanding. You know, yes, we need Google Plus because, and I find it difficult to get people to go onto it as as part of their marketing plan, because they say, okay, you know, we obviously need this and we obviously need that, but why should we pay X amount of hours for doing that? And I think there is there's an image problem for many out there.
I think it's a very fair point.
Go ahead, Matsutake.
No. I was saying that I think David makes a very fair point, and I think that's that has been one of the difficult things about Google Plus over its history, as it were. It's not a particularly an old product, and yet we never had a clear, concise definition of what it is and what it is for, because initially it was going to be this, social layer binding thing, bringing everything together. It's a very ambitious, very overarching umbrella kind of thing. That hasn't really worked, as we know. Bits and pieces have been chopped off from Google Plus. Photos is now a separate product from Google Plus, and so on and so forth. So it's been whittled down to something smaller, something I think is more manageable, which is it might be a good thing. But then another thing that sort of was put forward as a case for Google Plus was that it had some sort of goodie in terms of SEO. People thought that Google Plus is created by Google, pushed out there by Google, so there must be some sort of thing going on with Google search. And I think Google didn't do enough to, as it were, dampen that. So part of the initial excitement about Google Plus, a lot of it was created by SEOs and marketers to a certain extent. It's not entirely, but I think there was sort of a formation of narrative initially, which I think Google should have quashed much earlier, because people are thinking, many people are thinking, I think like Nancy and people with whom she's talking, in buying into this narrative and thinking, well, is this the case or not? So it is interesting, isn't it, because the question is framed, Google Plus for SEO reasons. People are not thinking in terms of like other social media platforms. It is couched in terms of SEO rather than perhaps social media optimization. And I think that's been an issue, I think. So people approaching Google Plus from, as it were, SEO perspective, rather than trying to use it or trying to perceive it as a social media platform that people can try, use, and perhaps choose over others. People will like different platforms. Individuals have different tastes and needs. So for some people, Facebook would be the best platform for them. For some, it would be Twitter. For some other people, it would be LinkedIn, so on and so forth. Whereas I think Google Plus has been sort of ambiguous in that sense. And if you're thinking, right, do I need it? Do I need it, or do I want to use it? And if it is, do I need it, then is the question framed in terms of, do I need it for SEO? Do I need it for social media optimization, etc., etc.? So I think there is an issue, as David said, of perception and, in fact, of what Google does, what Google Plus does and stands for. Sorry, I went far too long on this monologue, and I lost my thought about 5 minutes ago.
But it was a very good thought, Masataki. Absolutely brilliant. And Tim, you gave a great answer. You too, David. Anybody else? All right. Look, I just want to add my 10 cents. And the question is whether one should be on Google Plus because of SEO reasons. Well, the reason would be that every SEO worldwide worth knowing is on Google Plus. And it's a sharing community. I mean, SEO is it's a game of moving goalposts. So you look away for 10 minutes and look back, and your cheese is gone. Being on Google Plus helps you keep up with the pace. The other thing about Google Plus is its phenomenal reach and the fact that each user is backed by a profile. So it enables the formation of groups. I mean, look at SEO questions. If it was just say Twitter, you'd never form SEO questions out of Twitter. You'd never do it out of Facebook. Otherwise, you just have Tim coming on going LOL. Google Plus for SEO reasons are not the SEO reasons that you'd first think of. But I mean, how AJ Cohn is a hero of mine. We get to Tim was sitting at a table with AJ Cohn, and so was Masataki last week. One of the leading SEOs in the US, and that was because of Google Plus. That's how that relationship was formed. Micah contacted AJ Cohn, who was in town at the time, and organised lunch. So Google Plus did that. The stories about the alleged demise, and I would have been absolutely certain that Google Plus was a dead duck, but I persisted because there's nowhere else I like. I'm not a great fan of Twitter. I'm not a great fan. In fact, I'm a recovering Facebook user. I've been clean for about 18 months now, and I tend to stay that way. The thing is, it's a great platform, and so if you're an SEO, all I can say is follow other SEOs. You keep your ear to the ground, and anybody that is worth knowing is here. You've just got to seek them out. Anyway, that's my little bit. Any comments? Any more before we move on from this one?
You are much more coherent than I was.
All right. Much more relevant than I was.
Matus Mucha, supplementary keywords research. How to do a supplementary keywords research. What I mean by supplementary keywords is keywords related to the primary keyword. Thank you, Oracle. For example, for mortgage calculator, the supplementary keywords would be amortization schedule, payment plan, mortgage payment formula, etc. How would you search for related keywords like these?
Well, the obvious starting point, or the old starting point, or the starting point that will come up very quickly is the Google Keywords tool that they've now buried in AdWords. That will give you those sort of less long tail alternatives. I think the supplementary keywords, it's a bit of an odd way of thinking about it. I don't say supplementary keywords. I say let's have a top main keyword or key phrase for a page, and then look for some semantically related keywords to help prop it up and make the page more sensible for readers and more clear to Google what's going on. So I think probably the answer to the question is to use my or use my favorite places for keyword research, which these days are I tend to start off with the big chunky things, the blunt things in In SEMrush, if I'm not getting very much out of SEMrush, I'll probably go to the Google tool, but I then look for the long tail using keywordtool.io. So I think the thing is, it depends how deep you want to go and how wide you want to go. There are a lot of places that you can go for information. I think the overall strategy is to find data sets that are obviously different. You don't want to end up with a spreadsheet with a number of data sets that have got 80% overlap, because that's wasting time. So so that means, for me, I don't use Ubersuggest and keywordtool.io, because generally Ubersuggest comes out as a subset of the keywordtool.io keywords. So those two for me aren't worth doing together. So yeah, SEMrush is good. Google Keyword Tool is good, and keywordtool.io. Those are the three that I would generally use, with Google Keyword Tool being only used in certain situations when I'm running out of ideas or running out of data. So that's it, really. I think that get the data out, look and look for some, as you say, supplementary keywords that are that make sense with the stories, the themes of your pages.
Yep. Any others? All right, Matus, I hope that's been of some assistance to you. Next on our agenda is auto-generated content. I am using, this is Sorab Rawat, says, I am using Google Translator script in my website, infodriveindia.com. Is it the spam cause of, is spam caused by using auto-generated content? If it is spam, then what is the best way for a multi-language website?
Google considers it spam, and the best way would be to hire a translator. Because you need the local language, you don't need the translation.
Yep, thank you, Rob.
I'm from the short answers, remember?
I'm sure he'll consider it manna from heaven, Rob.
They're very packed with information, though, these short answers, unlike Masataki's and my replies, which go on for ages without any content whatsoever.
I'm just looking at the site in question, and essentially what he has is a Google Translate button. So it's not, oops, sorry. So it's not that he has created a page using Google Translate and then put it on his website. He's just, I think, adding Google Translate widget, as it were, so that people can translate the content of his site.
Okay, that wouldn't be spam.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be indexed in that language.
Exactly. So it's there for the user. It's not there for, I mean, it's not there to be indexed. But otherwise, as Rob said, I think I have a proper translator.
Yep. And I see Suraj Gadagay has given another of his brilliant answers in the comments on the original post on the Google Plus community, the SEO Questions community on Google Plus. All right. Have we covered this for Saurabh, Rawat? Recording that as a yes. Our next is from Rajesh S, who has a problem. His page is not displaying in Google after a week. Rajesh said, "Hi friends, I have created a new page, and it's showing or it's not showing. I'll Google search results for a week. After a week, my page is not displaying in Google. Why is this happening? What would be the reason?" And he gives a long URL, which can be seen on your screen at the moment, and also on the Google Plus, on the SEO Questions community on Google Plus. And Rajesh asked us to solve the issue. He wants to know why is his page not ranking.
Well, the first thing he should do is add his website to the Search Console, formerly Webmaster Tools. And there he should do fetch as Google and see how many pages of his website are actually indexed, and if that page is indexed. And if it's not indexed, he should look at his page to see whether or not he has a no index tag on it or something like that. A week is short for a website that isn't that popular. That's it.
I think Dave Elliott, has got it. It's copied content. It's essentially a verbatim copy of an article first published by AFP. And I'm going to wear my AdSense TC hat and say he's playing with fire. If you look at the link example, he has an ad unit next to an image of the same size. It's in the text, in the body of the article, and that is explicitly prohibited by ad placement policies in AdSense. Obviously, copying materials from other sources, that will land you into trouble. There is a drop-down menu at the top, which obscures the ad unit at the top, etc., etc., etc. I mean, if you wish to keep your AdSense account, remove ad units from that site immediately.
Well, I'm sure that's not the news that Rajesh wanted to hear, but it's very good advice. All right, let's move on to the next. This one is from Brad Sachs. Sales on an e-commerce website that occur in clusters. Has anyone ever noticed that sales on an e-commerce website that occur in sales on an e-commerce website occurring in clusters? I manage a fairly large e-commerce website on the Magento platform, and without anything changing, we'll have a very quiet few hours. Then all of a sudden, major sales within an hour. It's almost as though Google is turning a switch on and off. Thoughts?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think Google's like turning things on and off. Like Mike has said, you know, there's could be different things that the public see at specific times. I mean, I'll give you an answer. For example, I used to do some work for a small furniture company, and their ads tended to go crazy when some of the big retailers, big national ones, used to do their marketing in an evening on very popular shows, and that's when their sales used to spike. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't really say why you would get these different spikes. I mean, you may have to do some tracing back and see what's going on around and who's advertising, or yeah, why you just get those kind of spikes there. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Rob just mentioned in the chat here, look back in your analytics. Can you trace them back? Can you look at where they're coming from? Is it search, or you know, are they being referred? Are they? Yeah, I mean, quite difficult to work out. Yeah, wish I could be more help. Maybe someone else got some ideas.
Well, a lot of people use their mobile phone for research at work, so that they don't go through the company desktop and get nailed for looking at stuff on the job. Oh, Tim's got a sign. What's he got? Oh, the Google My Business sign. But they use their mobile phone at work, but they don't make the sale. They make the sale from their desktop, where on their desktop they do all their banking. They look upon it as a machine for handling financial transactions, whereas they probably shy away from using their mobile to make the purchase. So that could be that, you know, the reason that they're all coming in that hour, because that might be the hour that people have had time to drive home or get home, and or in Tim's case, walk home.
Yeah, actually, very good point. A lot of my hotel clients, now you can actually also see it depending on sort of what kind of hotels. The younger, more boutique, hipper city center hotels, they don't tend to get a lot of bookings during the day. Very few that trickle through, which could go back to gyms, and then sort of in the evening, that's when all the bookings are made, and very few are through mobile. Majority are through desktop. So yeah, more than likely people have been looking online during the day on their mobiles and have gotten home and feel more secure and comfortable placing the order via desktop. It's yeah, so you know, it could be something as simple as that.
Yeah, and also the second decision maker is present at home, whereas they may not be present at work. You know, couples don't often work together on the same premises, so you know, joint decisions are made later when they're at home. Or in my case, the primary decision is Angela. All right. Anything else on this one? Brad, if you are watching this at a later time, I'd check the comments on in the community if you haven't already. Micah Fisher-Kirshner is Senior SEO Manager for Zendesk.com, and Suraj Gadagay is working for another company now, but was once working for Yahoo. So you've got some blue blood talent giving you advice on your question. Apart from, as well as Tim Capper. Yes, Tim Capper. Will we move on to the next one? Did you know Tim Capper is a top contributor, Masataki?
Is he now?
In the Google My Business community.
Wow, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, he's up there with Mike Blumenthal and all those guys.
I didn't think he was that important.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, God.
He's awesome. Just like all the other TCs.
Woo!
All right, here's one from Chase Rayner. I see that Chase is up and about, but he's decided not to join us tonight for some reason. This is actually it's more of a news item, Chase. If you stumble across anything like this next time, it really belongs in our SEO news community, because it's more of a news item rather than, and we'll still give our thoughts on each news item. That's the whole plan. But,
yeah, it's bloody early at the minute for Chase, but that's no excuse. I mean. Yeah, what Chase has posted here is a test that they're doing currently, especially in San Fran. I think someone caught another test on an outlying city, but yeah, they've been doing that now for I would say a good 2 months now. So it's basically individual services or actual, obviously qualified services where the individual person or the business itself has to jump through a lot of hoops. In fact, if Chase had been reading my site, he probably would have noticed something about that going back 2 months ago. No, but yeah, it's basically welcome to pay to play in the local market, which are a couple of cents. When they were displaying these, they weren't displaying the local pack. So does that mean the local pack is going to disappear? And depending on the numbers and the metrics coming from these, if it was replaced, would, for example, it all be pay to play, and would the normal local pack disappear? I don't know. That is a big worry in that sense. But on the flip side of it, the industries that they are testing are massively heavily spammed industries. And by doing this, these guys really have to jump through a lot of hoops. The business has to be credit checked. The individual person has to be credit checked. They have to. I think they're using. I read in I think they're actually using Pinkertons to do in-depth background checks on both business and the individual person, and that has to be vetted first before they're allowed into the program. I mean, there's a huge amount of hoops that they have to jump through just to appear in it, and then of course you're still paying for the pleasure. If it rolled out and it got rid of the local pack, I'd be seriously miffed. If it stayed on to, if it stuck to industries, whether they could somehow incorporate that into a local pack somehow, then that would be good. But if that just stayed on for those particular service type industries and removed the rest, then that would be a bit of a worry. But I guess you just got to wait and see how it goes, really.
Yeah, I think Google's skating on thin ice. If people, I mean, really.
Well, at the minute they're doing like sort of plumbers and locksmiths. Now, I mean, if you look at plumbers and locksmiths in the US, now we don't really see it in the UK as such. We don't. I don't know. It may be in other countries, but I mean, it's an estimated that for every legitimate locksmith business page out there, there's over 100, 150 fake business pages surrounding each and every business. I mean, so literally we're talking millions for, let's say, 10,000 locksmiths. There are literally millions of fake ones out there. And they are trying to combat it. They're bringing out local algos to try and catch these things out. Unforeseen circumstances. I don't know if people have, if anybody watches or looks at their local packs, but I mean the local packs have been jumping around like stupidly for the last 2-3 months, as I guess Google tries to come out with algos, and it's like it's always they release a local search algo which cocks the rest up. But I mean the spam in the States is, I mean, in locksmith and that, it's just unreal. It is phenomenal. And if they, for example, had to bring out this kind of thing for plumbers and locksmiths, and if other industries started getting spam to heck and back, I mean, it would be good for the user, because the user would know that I will certainly have a qualified person that's been vetted that will come to my door. Whereas on the flip side, yeah, it's pay-to-play module, which is not good. But flip it the other way around. If you're a locksmith and you want to use AdWords in the States, do you know what the average price for a click now is? Because of all the spammers, it's up to $65 a click for a locksmith. Now, a locksmith that's charging $20 to come out for your car, the legitimate guys don't advertise, because it's only the spammers that can afford to. They come out and then they go, oh, it's this and it's that, and then it's this, and then they screw you some more, and then they end up billing you $600. So on the flip side, it could be good for the local guys. Yes, I know they have to pay per click, but it won't be $65 a click anymore. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I mean, they won't be doing it for example. I mean, okay, maybe real estate, maybe estate agents. They're pretty bad in the States. But I mean, they wouldn't be doing it for the little grocery store, the bookstore, do you know what I mean? Because those will always be in the local pack, because there isn't the spam and the massive need for that. I think it's just particularly serviced areas that are massively heavily spammed. I may be wrong. I'm only kind of thinking ahead of the whole game, but it'd be interesting to see what they come out with. Invariably, they'll get it wrong and then reverse the decision later on.
We recently moved house, and in the previous house we're in, we didn't ever lock the doors. Not even when we went out for the day. So when the time came to move out, we had to get a locksmith in, because we didn't have any keys. So yeah, they charged $600. I should have asked him if he was a spammer or not. Anyway, all right. Well, that's our last question for the evening, I think. Let me just see. Yep. Look, before we go, I've got to ask you, Andy Wigglesworth, you've been away for 15 months. Where have you been?
Just working on proper projects instead of messing around at home all the time, and just looking after the family, or being with the family. So, working family.
Yeah, and tell me something. Mobile is becoming. What are you doing that's bleeding edge in mobile?
Nothing much really. Still all responsive, which is obviously great. Everyone seems to be getting their minds around it now. Most companies that we speak to nowadays understand that they need a responsive website. So we're doing a lot of conversions nowadays. There's a few ecommerce stores that we're converting or trying to. So yeah, still looking good.
I've got a few sites that need converting.
We'll talk about that after, I guess. But yeah, no, it's all good. So, WordPress still seems to be the CMS of choice for everybody that we speak to. So yeah,
I still reckon it's a solid. You know, I mean, it's if it's put together properly, and obviously the person behind it is managing it, it's cracking.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with it. I've had a few nightmares this week with some really badly built Magentos. Jeepers.
There's a big virus malware hack going around at the moment for every Magento store.
Yeah, every time I log in, it's like, please update your like, hello.
Yeah, they sent an email out last week, so yeah.
Yeah.
So, apart from that, things are good. I just don't get to spend much time on Google Plus, and that's the only thing I'm missing out on, really. I don't really use Facebook, only for family, Facebook, and I don't use Twitter at all, so my online activities sort of plummeted, really. So.
Oh, it's a good thing they got rid of authorship then, hey?
Didn't see that writing coming. No, I didn't see that coming at all.
Well, look, it's good to know that you're still talking to us, Andy. I mean, Tim Capper, since he became a TC, you know, we're just not good enough anymore, you know?
Yeah. Happens to the best of us, I guess.
I mix it up with everyone, man. I'm not an elitist. Hey, Rob, we were out on the pavement outside the hotel, weren't we? We were mixing it up with everyone.
Smoking is good for you.
I think we are legally obliged to say that smoking is not good for your health.
Yeah, quite possibly, yeah.
All right, guys, look, let's wrap this up and we'll go to Green Room. I see we still have eyes watching us. I'll put a link to this hangout on the SEO Questions community on Google+. Yes, go ahead, Tim.
If anyone's watching us and they fancy like getting involved in a little experiment, if they come across local packs, right, where the results differ just by switching the actual search. So, for example, if it was web design, county or state, and then you flip it around by saying county or state, web design, for example. So if they differ massively just from flipping the things around, can they just ping them over to me? Because I feel that things are not looking quite right at the minute, and things are going on, but other people in the world are going, no, looks normal. Well, I'm seeing different to what other people are seeing, so I'm just wondering if it's my brain that's gone, scrambled egg in the last week, or are other people just like sort of denying the possibility that something's broken? So if you come across weird results in the local packs, can they just ping me whatever the search term is? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, Tim. Okay, well, look, we'll be back at the same time next week to do it all again. We thank you for watching. Your interest in what we do makes what we do worthwhile.